But yes, share it to your profile if you can. I'm not sure how it works. I just found out that I was streaming though. All you gotta do is go to my profile.
Hello? 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 I guess it's loud enough. Good day. This is an attempt to record the musings of Aaron Schwartz, creator of Reddit and a developer in RSS. He has a web blog at aaronsw.com. And it's just an account of his ideas. So I'm going to go through his blog. Seems to take a very straightforward account. The first 5, it looks like it was rearranged as it's not catalog, but sitemap's been created. So there's a few posts that file out of line in 2009, starting with y to the power of exponents, and what happens at the end of infinite jest, which I'm curious to figure out what he has to say on that. So one of the few books I've read on audiobook, or have had read to me on audiobook. But I'm going to go through the first 5 posts and as well read the biography. His biography and the cause and need for his blog. This is his bio. Aaron Schwartz. Aaron Schwartz is the founder of Demand Progress, which has launched the campaign against the internet censorship bills SOPA and PIPA, and now has over 1 million members. He is also a contributing editor to The Baffler and on the council advisors to The Rules. He is a frequent television commentator and the author of numerous articles on a variety of topics, especially the corrupting influence of big money in institutions including nonprofits, the media, politics, and public opinion. From 2010 to 11, he researched the topics as a fellow at the Harvard Ethics Center Lab in the Institutional Corruption. He also served on the board of Change Congress, a government nonprofit. He also developed the site info.org. His landmark analysis of Wikipedia, Who Writes Wikipedia, has been widely cited, working with web inventor Tim Berners-Lee at MIT, that is creator of the internet. He helped develop and popularize standards for sharing data on the web. He also co-authored the RSS 1.0 specification, now widely used for publishing news stories. His piece with photographer Terrence Simon, Image Analysis 2012, has been featured in the New Museum. His piece on photographer Terrence Simon, Image Atlas 2012, has been featured in the New Museum. In 2007, he led the development of nonprofit Open Library, an ambitious project to collect information about every book ever published. He's also co-founded the online news site Reddit, where he releases free software to the web framework he developed, web.py. His email is me@aaronschwartz.com. Original articles on this site are CC by NCA, SA. It's Creative Commons, licensed under otherwise stated, and server information sidebar. This site is being served from Ubuntu box with 2 gigabytes of RAM that are currently provided several people, thanks to DealSpotter for free human edited directory and US-based retailers. Now, on to the blog. Just 1 second, I have to turn off power mode on my also have this box here. I wonder if I can play some sound effects for you guys. You won't hear them. Unfortunately, that is going to be so terrible for the ears of the podcasters, although this will be edited. All right, so this is the first post in the directory. I believe it honestly is posted in 2009, but looks like it's been amended to the first of the line at April 18th, 2012, and this blog was started in 2004. So this is just like a little bit of background. It's not stuff I'll include into the podcast I'll be making. All right, Weblog 1. Why the power of exponents, just 5 levels of councils, each consisting of only 50 people, is enough to cover over 300 million people? Question mark. The government of a republic. James Madison wrote in the Federalist No. 39, Conformity of the Plan of the Republic of Principles, 1788. Must be derived from the great body of society, not form an inconsiderable portion or a favored class of it, otherwise a handful of tyrannical nobles, exercising their oppression by a delegation of powers, might aspire to the rank of republicans, and claim for their government the honorable title of the republic. Looking at our government today, a house of professional politicians, a senate filled with multimillionaires, string of presidents, family dynasties, it seems to maintain that our officials are in fact derived from a great body of society, and not a favored class, merely posing as representatives of the people. Unless politics is a tradition in your family, odds are getting elected in federal office are slim. And unless you're a white male lawyer, you rarely get to vote for someone like yourself in a national race. Nor, in reality, do we have the opportunity to choose policy positions. No major candidate can support important proposals from most voters agree with, like single-payer health care. Instead, national elections have been boiled down to simple binary choices, which the advertising men and public relations teams reduce to pure emotions. Fear. A bear prowls through the woods. Hope. A sun rises over a hill. Vote Smith or maybe Jones. Nor does the major media elevate the level of debate. Instead of substantive discussions about policy proposals and their effects, they spend time on horse race coverage, who's raised the most money, who's polling well in Ohio, and petty scandals. How much did that haircut cost? Was someone somewhere offended by that remark? The result is this, after all this is dumbing down. In 2004, voters said they would choose a presidential candidate based on the candidate's agendas, ideas, platforms, goals, compromise of a whopping 10% of the electorate. So it's not too surprising when political scientists find that voters' decisions cannot be explained by such random factors as whether or not they like red or blue, or whether or not the economy is bad, or whether or not the current party has been in office for that long or not. Aside from the occasional telephone poll, the opinions of the great body of society have been edited out of the picture. Why back in Federalist No. 10, the utility of the Union as a safeguard against the domestic faction and insurrection continued, 1787, Madison put his finger on the reason. However small the republic may be, he noted, the representatives must be raised to a certain number in order to guard against the cabals of the few. But similarly, however large it may be, they must be limited to a certain number in order to guard against the confusion of a multitude. The result is that the population grows while the number of representatives stays fixed, leaving the amount each politician to represent more and more people. The first Congress of the House had 65 members representing 40,000 voters, and 3 million citizens. They had a whopping 1.3% voter turnout back then. That was a representative for about 600 voters or 4,600 citizens. the size of the average baseball stadium. A baseball stadium may be a bit of an unruly mob, but it's not unimaginably large. Today, by contrast, we have 435 representatives and 300 million citizens, one for roughly every 700 citizens. There isn't a stadium in the world big enough to hold that many people. It is a number of akin to a television audience. It's about how many people tune in to watch Keep Olbermann each night. Which exactly is the modern constituency has become the TV audience following along at home. If you ever wanted to, you can't have a real conversation with a TV audience. It's too big to convey a sense of what the individual is thinking. Instead of a group to represent, it's a mob to be managed. I agree that there is roughly a right size for a group of representatives on both sides of which inconvenience will be found to lie. By enlarging too much the number of electors, you render the representatives too little acquainted with the local circumstances and their lesser interests. By reducing it too much, you render him unduly attached to those and too little fit to comprehend the pursuit of the great and national objects. ? But what Madison missed is that there is no similar unit on the number of such groups. To take advantage of a technological analogy, the internet is at its bottom an enormous collection of wires, yet nobody would ever think of it this way. Instead, we group the wires into chips and chips into computers into networks and networks into the internet. And why people only deal with things at each level, when their computer breaks we can't identify which wire failed, we take the whole thing into the shop. One of the most compelling visions for rebooting democracy adopts in this system of extraction for politics. Parpolity, developed by the political scientist Stephen Shalom, would be a great legislator out of the hierarchical series of nested councils. Agreeing with Madison, he says each council will be small enough that everyone can engage in a face-to-face discussion, but large enough that there is a diversity of opinions and the number of councils is minimized. He estimates that the right size is about 25 to 50 people. So, to begin with, let's imagine a council of you and your 40 closest neighbors, perhaps the other people in your apartment building or on your block. You get together often to discuss the issues that concern you and your neighborhood. You may vote to set the policy for your area in which the council covers. But your council has other functions. It selects one of its own to send its representative to the next council up. The process of repeat itself. The representative from the block and his 40 closest neighbors meet every so often to discuss political issues that concern the area, and of course the representative reports back to the group, gets your recommendations on the difficult questions, and takes suggestions for issues to raise the next area council meeting. By the power of exponents, by just 5 levels of council, each consisting of only 50 people, is enough to cover over 300 million people. But, and this is the only clear bit at the area council, the whole process repeats itself. It just as each block council nominates a representative to the area council, each area council nominates a representative to the city council, and each city council to the state council, and the state council to the national council, and so on. Shalom discusses a number of further details, provisions for voting, recalls, and delegations, but it's the idea of nesting that's key. Under such a system, there are only 4 representatives who stand between you and the people sitting in the national policy, each of whom is a force to account for the constituents in regular, small face-to-face meetings. Politicians in such a system could not be elected through empty appeals to mass emotions. Instead, they would have to sit down face-to-face with the council of their peers, persuade them in what are best suited to represent Israel. Instead, they would have to sit down face-to-face with the council of their peers and persuade them that they are the best suited to represent their interests and positions. There is something rather old-fashioned about this notion of sitting down with one's fellow citizens and rationally discussing the issues of the day. But there is also something new and exciting about it. In the same way, blogs have given everyone a chance to be a publisher, Wikipedia has let everyone be an encyclopedia author, and YouTube lets anyone be a television producer. Parpolity will let everyone be a politician. The internet has shown us that the people have the talent with a proud number of people in the background, connections, and... The internet has shown us that the pool of people with talent far outnumbers the few in the background, connections, with wealth to get to a place in society where they can practice the talents professionally. It also shows up that many people with those connections aren't particularly talented. The democratic power of the net means that you don't need to make connections to succeed. In a world where kids can become television stars just by finding a video camera and some internet connection, citizens may begin to wonder why getting into politics is so much harder. For many years, politicians have a ready excuse. Politics was a difficult job. They required carefully weighing and evaluating evidence and making difficult decisions. Only a select few could be trusted to perform it, and the vast majority of the population was woefully underqualified. And perhaps the area of the cozy relationship between politicians and the press, this illusion would be sustained. But netroot activists and blogs push our national conversations ever closer to the real world. This excuse is becoming laughable. After all, these men and women, supposedly of sober judgment, voted overwhelmingly for disasters like the Iraq War. No one would ever predicted this. TV, talking heads, all insist no one, except for a great body of society whose insistence on Iraq did not pose a threat, and that the occupation would be long and brutal when ignored. The new online tools for interaction and collaboration have let people come together and across a space to build time to build amazing things. As the internet breaks down the last justifications for a professional class of politicians, it also builds up tools for replacing them. For the most part, this effort has become focused on the education and entertainment, but it's only a matter of time before they turn to politics, and when they do, professional politicians beware. I will be re-recording these, and I'm going to go through the comments as well, just because I find them a vast resource, specifically to understanding what break ideas might be faced with when it comes to the online commentary, web blogs, posting your opinions, all these types of things. So here we go. This is you can follow his Twitter. It says at the end as well. I wonder. I want to see the comments. Oh, there's no comments on this one here. All right, I'm gonna go to, let's see how long this one is. Oh, this is has to be translated. All right, so the next one has to be translated. I'm just gonna check the time. Yeah, I only have an hour left, so I may do this one, and then that'll be it for today. But I'm trying to do a lot more, kind of show what I'm up to more in an open way on Facebook. This first trial with streaming and stuff like that, so I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, I feel just in a further listening aspect, I'm sure his blog has been transcribed before, but I feel like the commentary can offer on how my ideas parallel those of the late Aaron Schwartz. Maybe may help you'll find other people that would help or feel as if they might be able to join in the struggles we all face in protecting our privacy and against those who are feel like democracy is a game of opposition instead of a collective effort. So yeah, here's the Raw Thought by Aaron Schwartz, DJB, English, translated by Motohiro Takayama Muto. Everyone, it's about time for DJI. I think we should remember that Bernstein is the best program in world history. First, let's look at the objective facts. DJB wrote in two important system software, mail server and DNS server. Both are used in millions of domains. do all kinds of complicated work, and there's no problem with even the tremendous high load and respond to any normal situation. These are working exactly the same thing as when Bernstein released them. One bug, and only one, was found in Gmail. The second one only reported to DJB DNS recently, but the important thing is the fact that it took nearly 10 years to find this bug. There are no other programmers who can do this. Donald Knuth has a good line, but if you read the diary, Literary Programming, he wrote about TEX, TEX. He has been looking for bugs for years, and he's been looking for bugs for years, and he thinks that the journey will never come to an end. However, I can only repeat my steps so that it is asymptomatic to the end, and this is what. For that reason, the strange version number rule. Not only you can't write the record of DJB, but no one can even get close to that area. But the most important factor is subjective. DJB's program is an art. It is great work that should only be understood with sensibility. The DJB code looks like a good art with an outline. There's a balance and a rhythm, and there's no less the best typography. As with great poems, each letter has a meaning. Each letter is there because it is necessary. However, the program is not just there for being read. Dance is like an elegant dancer, not only as a single dancer, but also as a ballet suite. You can divide it, move it, or restore it, and again, it works at remarkable speed. Unlike dance, these movements have a purpose. The program does as it needs to be done. In other words, find the website and carry the email from here to here. In most amazing scenario, the delivery and division of emails is like a huge and endless ballet suite. Let's think of The Office or a Brazilian sitcom. This is not a temporary illusion. Your email is processed like this every day. But the purpose of this dance is not only to be appreciated, it's a dance with a purpose. The internal structure is perfectly built to minimize the moving parts. I am able to do the tasks I need with minimal effort. There's nothing but wonderful in it to divide and allocate the processing of contents. It's not like a linguistic sense that I'm saying it's brilliant here. Of course, there is that too, but it's because the high efficiency backed by elegant mathematics. Many formulas ensure the operation of program is theoretically perfect, and that there is no better way. Even if I write this much, I still can't explain how the tremendous beauty of the DJB software. The DJB program is not a machine that is strong as team with great skills will admire. It's also a tool that is often used in hand and intended to be used by people. As seen in the excellent industrial design, DJB software has joy every time you use it. There are other fields that combine the beauty in language, mathematics, art, design, and function. Programming clearly belongs to an area. Then, who can beat DJB? Is there anyone out there who's opened up the possibilities so far? Was there even anyone who knew that there was such a possibility? It's strange, but there are a lot of people who are exposing their dislike of DJB. One of the reasons is due to the general dislike of genius. It is clear that DJB has a powerful and compromising vision, which often leads to the misunderstanding that there is arrogance and rudeness. Other reasons are due to the disregard for excellent design due to pragmatism. DJB programs don't work like most programs. There's a simple reason for that way that most programs are wrong. But the hatred of DJB is deeper than that. There's no confirmation, but frankly speaking, I think that people who have bad hobbies maybe feel angry, dissatisfied when they see praise for what they don't understand. Excellent art is always accompanied by slander. What I'm saying here is not that DJB's job is perfect. As I said earlier, there are bugs, and it's hard to say that the log file is graceful. If DJB were to rewrite the software now, there's no doubt that there would be huge change. But then, is there anyone who stood up to try one thing, no one even knows if they can do it right. Until I read DGB's code, I didn't want to know there was an excellent art in software like was like. Sorry, so. Until I read DGB's code, I didn't know that there was an excellent art in software was like. And now, no matter what the code I read, I feel dull. Bonus, if you've read this far, I think you will understand that DGB, be interested in what DGB's code's doing right now. Original, DJB by Ernst Schwartz, Raw Thought. October 26, 2009. And there's no comments by this one as well again. I think that will be it for today. We have a half hour in on many blog posts from here going up until his death. Once I get, like, say, a few weeks, I may do it in hours, but it's going to be commentary when I do the, and how it relates to my own life when I make a podcast reflecting on the words of Ernst Schwartz and what his influence on the world. Thank you for joining me today, and hope to see you all if you're tuning in further in the future when I upload more content. Thank you very much. Bye.